Hi folks, Jesse Ivy back with you again today. And today I was watching the news and on CNBC I was seeing that the Fed had a meeting today about interest rates, and they basically decided not to raise interest rates this quarter here. But they didn't pivot. They didn't say they're not going to continue to raise, but it made everybody think that they're not going to raise the interest rates anymore, at least for the foreseeable future. And the question is the Fed ready to pivot going into 2024? So that's the question. As far as houses go, if you're standing on the sidelines, you're thinking about buying a house, and you're wondering, in 2024, am I going to be able to buy a house? Is the Fed going to drop interest rates low enough where I'll be able to do that? The problem with that is there's a lot of other circumstances and markets where, for example, cars are way sky high and interest rates are high on the cars. So, and the whole idea with that was to slow down, that's why they raised interest rates, to slow the economy down, to try to curb the inflation back to 2%. And so cars are sky high, and then interest rates, trying to get a car or an SUV or whatever, that's sky high. Going on to student loans. Student loans are a problem for people as well, and that's affecting things too. And you move on, into the rental market. Rents are really sky high. And so it's going back to the housing market. It's like, what are you going to do? You want the housing market to stabilize, which in some areas of the country is doing really well. Other areas of the country, there's not a lot of inventory. So, and people are just basically hanging on to their properties. That if you're in a good mortgage right now, you're just sitting there. But people on the sidelines who are waiting, maybe they're putting their money away and they're waiting for a good time to come in. They don't know yet if the Fed is going to pivot. Pivoting means that they're going to start cutting interest rates, okay? So you go into 2024 not knowing that. You go into the spring of 2024 not knowing that. What could possibly happen? Could the Fed maybe cut interest rates? Right now, in October, they went up to 8%. Right now, on today's, I checked today, it was at 7.23% for, interest rates on a 30-year fixed loan. And the other area that's making things very difficult for people in the United States right now is the fact that their credit cards have gone up. If your credit card, they're on variable rates. So maybe before all these interest rates hikes, you went up, you were at 16%, 14%. Well, now you're at 21%. And so that really affects people's cash flow, So if you were paying 16% before and now it's at 21%, maybe that made your payment go from $150 a month all the way up to $275 or something like that. And that makes it very difficult to save for a house and that type of thing. I personally believe that the Fed probably sometime in 2024 will indeed cut interest rates. But I don't know by how much. I'm just going to guess here. I would say by the end of 2024, maybe interest rates might be at 6.5, maybe 6.75, somewhere in there. I don't anticipate them going all the way down to 5% or, because it's just like, you build up a mountain, a mountain builds like this. It's going to be the same way, this coming back down. The Fed's going to pivot, but they're not going to just go, they're not going to keep dropping it, by 1 point or 3 points where you go from 7% all the way down to 4%, at one meeting. They're not going to do that, because they're going to still want the interest rates. They're going to want interest rates to, steadily decline, and then they're going to want inflation to continue to descend back down to 2%, which it currently is not, okay? So this is something that's going to go on for a while. I will tell you, though, if you are somebody watching this video and you like what we have to say on our land channel here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps the channel, and like this video, it helps the video and promotes good stuff for everybody. Anyway, back to this. I do believe that the Fed probably will pivot in 2024 and cut interest rates down some. But if you, whoever's watching this video, if you are saving up for a house, you can continue to save. I would continue to save my money in the bank and save for that down payment, because eventually it will go down. I'm thinking that as long as inflation doesn't spiral back up again, maybe back in 2025, you may be seeing interest rates back down to 5% somewhere in there. Maybe you get lucky and go down to 4.75 or something like that. But just keep saving your money. Especially if you're trying to save for a house, keep saving your money, because long term, you're going to come out ahead, because eventually these interest rates most likely will go back down. I'm not saying they're going to go down to 2% or 3% again, but they might go down to 5 or a little bit lower than that, 4.5, 4.75. By the time 2025 comes along, you're going to have a whole, we're going to get a new president and hopefully some new ideas from the White House about how to, run our country so it's run effectively, and that will help interest rates, and people will be more lender friendly by then. But I would keep saving my down payment, definitely, and keep an eye on the market. And you know what, folks, I hope that I hope interest rates go back down so that people are able to start paying their bills better. That will help credit cards. If the interest rate goes back down, it'll drop interest rates back down to 16, 14 maybe percent. Car loans, same thing, go back down. If you bought a car on a variable loan, you're being very much affected. If you bought a house on a variable loan where you have an arm, where it fluctuates, it goes with the prime rate. You could be, if you were paying, your house payment might have been $1,500 and you bought it on an arm at a variable, now your house payment, you could be paying $2,250 or something like that. And that affects everything. That affects your savings and your family and the whole bit, and it makes things stressful and everything. So anyway, this is hoping that 2024 will be great, and that the interest rates will indeed go back down. The Fed will pivot and start dropping those interest rates back down. Anyway, this is Jesse, hoping that you have a great holiday season, and I'm going to sign off here from the Owner Terms Land Network.